Hi guys, today I'm going to be forcing myself to talk about party gears for an hour or maybe 45 minutes, I don't know, however long I can take it honestly depends. Um, Party Gears is my favourite company. They're just cool, like, they kind of look like a cartoon in real life. Oh my god, this is going to be long, isn't it? They're like a great company. Because as you can see, I've got. Oh, the camera almost went off there. As you can see here, I've got the classic werewolf and the little killer clown knife. Those are both from Halloween costumes. But what people don't know is that Party Gears actually used to make stuff for Morbid Enterprises. Like, they used to make all the stuff from 2015 upwards was basically all made by Morbid Enterprises. So it meant all the stuff you saw in Party City, like the weird ass Valak Nun thing, that was all by Party Gears. And so it means there's questionable stuff about that. And I'm pretty sure the way it goes is it's like this designer guy, and he came on. I'm about to sneeze. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, as I was saying, this designer guy came on the team, and he was and he just loved Party Gears, I guess, because he designed all of his concepts and sent them to Party Gears, and then they just made a shit ton of animatronics. It means there's Asylum Nurse was also Party Gears. But the animatronics, up until then, I'm pretty sure they were by Party Time, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because recently this year Halloween costumes, the maker of the Little Killer Clown and Werewolf were actually both Party. The Halloween costumes, the people that made these, no, they didn't make them, but they put them out. The people that distributed these guys, Halloween costumes, they got new items in from Party Time, and you can tell if you look at the control board, the control box, and instead of being the usual square box. Wait, let me show you guys. Usually, if we look in here, you can see the control box looks like that. It does not look like that. It's an actual regular kind of just like a rectangle, except 3D. I don't know the scientific name, but yeah, they start producing them. They start producing Salivation. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Salivation, Ivor the Eye is definitely it. And then but before that they did have items in the Killer Circus Clown was the only original Party Gears item they actually had, which is pretty cool. But then they did have stuff in from Jemmy, and Jemmy has basically just been entirely Party Time, the last I want to say decade. They switched over. They didn't stop producing anything. And then I was why would Halloween costumes do that if they have to go through a middleman, which would be Jemmy, if they've already got direct access to Party Time and work with them stuff like Salivation? Well, the answer is licensing. Because if you look at all the Jemmy stuff, it's always licensed stuff, like Dr. Finkelstein, that one that sits in the wheelchair and lifts up its head. From The Nightmare Before Christmas. They also did that for Lock, Shock and Barrel. I'm surprised they didn't just use Party Gears for Lock, Shock and Barrel, but I guess, licensing and stuff. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I forgot my original point I was making with that. Oh yeah, I was talking about Morbid Enterprise and how they use Party Time. Well, they eventually phased that out. Many people think that the golden era of Party Gears... No, the golden era of Morbid Enterprise was the Party Time era. But I disagree. I think the golden era was 2019. Which people actually hate me for that. For no reason. Because they just produce good stuff. The animations are so fun. And people what people don't know about me when I talk about this, is they seem to think that, I only care about stuff for, the way they look. But that's not, haunting, but I don't. I like stuff like mechanisms. That's why I have, snowflake spinners and, weird, gizmos and stuff like that. I do it all for, the mechanisms. And Party Gears has really good mechanisms. If we go ahead and look inside the classic werewolf, it's actually quite cool. They have a lunging mechanism. They have two mechanisms here. They have a head turn, and I really like the motors they use. I'll talk about them later. And then they got a lunging mechanism too. Put that back. And then this one is slightly different because it uses a different type of motor mount. It's shorter, if you can see there. Not long. This kind of makes sense, because if it saves on money, then that's good. But let's talk about the motors themselves, and we'll talk about other things and then my experiences with them. Okay, give me a minute. So the classic werewolf. Wait, sorry. I need to blow my nose, but yeah. So the motor type they use is called the GS-50T, and I'll show you what they look like outside the casing because I just showed you them. They look like this. They're quite cool, except they have a different shaft type. It's these instead. It's dual tapped, so it means if you want to replace them, it's super easy. Usually, they're about 6 volt. They're always 6 volt, but they run at 11 RPM, so they're usually quite slow. But it depends on the way they're used, because obviously this hand is super light compared to this, which is lifting the whole upper body. But they do actually something quite cool with these. Is that they order in a really slow RPM. They order in 4 RPM, 5 RPM, around there, and then have a few gears in it metal. I think they usually have the shaft gear metal, and then the next gear along metal, and then everything else is plastic, which is a good idea. I mean, it works as long as, it kind of makes sense for stuff like the lunge here, but then you get to stuff like the arm on this clan, and you don't need that to be metal. But hey, I'm not complaining if it lasts longer. But as I was saying, they get in a 5 RPM version, and then what they do is they take at the bottom here is a motor, right? You can change these out, so you could put in a higher RPM down here, a motor that has more coils in it, so it spins faster, which means it will spin the gearbox faster. And because it's already been geared down a lot, it means it raises the torque so much. That's how they're able to make stuff like this go so fast, even though it's only 11 RPM. That's how they're able to make it so strong. I mean, good thinking by them. It's a good idea. They've done a good job. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so they kind of evolved the motor over the years. And one thing that I always wonder about Party Gears is, why do they choose these types of motors? Because they're more expensive. Why don't they just use the standard box motors like SVI does? I don't understand why they do this. Let me check if I've got enough battery for this video. Okay, I think I do. But why would you choose to have this casing? And you're probably thinking, well, maybe it's just because Party Gears hasn't really changed over the years, which would be true if it wasn't for the fact you could see that they had actually changed the sculpt of the motor recently. Because if you compare the motor that they have now, the casing at least, you can see that it's flat. This upper bit is flat, and then it just goes down quickly. The original one, it kind of scoops down, and it was a lot thicker. So they done it really weirdly. Well, like, not really, but they've kind of like adjusted the sculpt recently, because there's like a video called like Cleaver Clown Mechanism, and if you look at it, you'll see. And what's interesting now is it means that that is the motor that SVI uses for like some of their cheaper props and their constant motion props. And so I wonder if they like mold share with SVI in a little bit of a more way. One thing people don't know is that they actually share the same welding company as SVI, so that all the frames for Party Gears are done by SVI. It's quite cool. No one does that. No one knows that. It says on their website. Oh my god, we're only 10 minutes in, and I've got to do 50 more. Brilliant. Okay. Let's talk about the control boxes. You know what, well, we'll do that. I'll take apart this clown so we can inspect the mechanism. Alright, so the control boxes are interesting. They're kind of like really cute and tiny compared to like regular control boxes for some reason. I'm a bit ill at the moment, guys, sorry. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we can take that off, and now we can take a peek. You can sort of just like pull this down. Yeah. So, Party Gears control boxes. Party Gears control boxes take a 6-volt 1 amp adapter usually. Sometimes they take a 6 volt. Sometimes they take a 6 volt 1.5 volt. Alright, here we go. It honestly just depends on like how many motions it has. Alright, so here we have the Killer Clown mechanism. Here you can see the motor as it spins.
Who wants a trim? Come on over here and I'll take some off the top.
And I find something quite cool here. It says it complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules operation subject to following 2 conditions. This device may not cause harmful interference, and this device must accept any interference received during operation that may cause undesired operation. Which is kind of weird because that's not the case, as this thing's like a basic Halloween animatronic board, so it won't really, it's not really susceptible to that kind of thing. Like, it's not that advanced to accept undesired operations. Yeah, so here's the control board. Here you've got off, which is actually also try me. So it means what you can do is here you put in the step pad jack, which I'll show more in a minute. And then once you've got on mode, as soon as you flick that switch, it will actually be activated by sound sensor. But some of them have a light sensor. This is not one of them, unfortunately. This is a sound sensor only thing, which is a bit of a shame. I wish Halloween costumes would like choose to upgrade a bit. Oh, here you've got volume control. It's fairly basic. It's just like a regular potentiometer. I did have one of them. The interesting thing about them is that they have like forks that go into the board to hold it in place, which is actually how it remains stable. And they usually hold on the knob with hot glue. So, interesting approach they take, but whatever works, I guess. And then here's the plug. The interesting thing about this is that they have it in this shape, so it actually fits in place and like can't be moved around. Because I've got these female jacks over here which do the exact same job, except those aren't that shape. See what I mean? Yeah, so if you wanted to like have this thing run on batteries, because it doesn't have the option of batteries, because it's like very basic. But if you did want that, then what you could do is you could buy like female jacks a bit like this with like screw ports, and then put that in, and then what you could do there is then you could actually like solder it directly to a battery pack. Then that battery pack would like just send the power in from the batteries, and then you don't actually have to plug it in. Which is pretty cool. Then here's the step pad jack. For some reason mine is faulty. We'll talk about all my faulty stuff in a minute from Party Gears. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and they use paper cone speakers here. Let me find. I got like a box of gizmos here. Hopefully I can find, because I've got like this speaker they use, like a very similar one. Yeah, here it is. So they use kind of speakers like this, except they have metal in the middle instead of like paper. As you can see, it fits exactly like it would be. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Paper cone speaker. They have like a waterproof sort of texture here. Even though these things aren't really designed to be outside, you could use them outside. And the good thing about the small control box is it means that you can easily just put like a sandwich wrapper over it or something like that, and you can easily hide it. Unlike the big SVI control boxes, when I tried to do that, it barely fitted over, but I did manage it in the end and it was okay. As for these motors, these will be absolutely fine outside due to the casing. This casing's really good and won't really let any water in, which is also good. Yeah, let's talk more about Party Gears. Why not? I think that would be cool to talk about them. So, Party Gears was founded in 2012, which kind of proves my point earlier by saying that Morbid was like one of those companies that have been around for ages. Oh god, someone help me. Yeah, so Morbid has been around longer than Party Gears has, and I guess when they found out about them as a company, they gave them a go and liked them, because they were like working for them all the way up until their death in 2020. And then the funny thing is that then Skullcrane picked up all their excess stock, because it all got produced before they shut down, which means they had like a bunch left over. And so Skullcrane like sold a bunch of it. They had like a lunging werewolf that was coming out. It was all really cool. Well, unfortunately, it was all cancelled before it, and then it was all too late, really. And then in 2021, the funny thing is that if you actually go back on the Halloween Costumes channel, they were stocking a lot of items from Morbid Enterprise. And then in 2021, they start stocking Party Gears items, which is strange, because you're thinking, like, how can that really be possible if, like, you know, how can that really be possible if Morbid Enterprise shut down? Well, then you realise that they actually hired, as an art director and like animatronics director, they hired the same guy that was working on Morbid Enterprise before they shut down, which is actually quite cool. And the fact they ran it as an online store, as like one, like it's all in one place, and the fact they had UK shipping was great too. So it meant my first Morbid Enterprise, my first Party Gears was the Floating Ghost. My first one arrived at like February of 2025, and I loved it. It was so cool, but unfortunately it broke really quick. And we'll talk about why. Because, okay, so let me grab a random motor here. So if you have a motor here, right, this is just a random one. If you spin it backwards, it will like generate a current. That's called like back EMF, I believe. Yeah, so back EMF. Back EMF is when the current comes back into like the control box. So what would happen really is, it was kind of my fault that I broke it, because what I was doing is I like to have all my stuff in like a good position. So say I wanted to move this to the middle, I will manually twist it like that. But what I ended up doing is, because it had like a really big lever with the whole body, I could just pull the body backwards and forwards, just easily move the motor. That's what happened. I kind of like grabbed it by the hinge point and shoved it back up to the top position. And what I ended up doing is it moved the motor so fast that it turned into a generator, like I said, and sent like voltage and ampage all the way back through the wires to the control box. And the control box isn't really designed to handle like voltage coming in from that direction. So what it does is it just like fries the whole thing. And I kind of wish I didn't throw away the original control box, because now I could have probably just replaced the components on the board somewhere. And even if like the audio is broken, like I've got these things here, which are called I think they're called like a CXK1, yeah. And these things, as soon as you attach voltage to them, they will instantly start playing the audio. So what you could do from there is, like, you could say you wanted audio, you could like splice the wires so you have voltage going from here as well as to the motor. And because most party gears props, as soon as you turn them on, the motor starts moving. It means you could just wire it to the motor jack and it'll get all the voltage it needs, because it's 5V this. And then it will instantly just start playing its audio, which is really cool. So yeah, that's a pretty nice feature they've got. Oh yeah, back in math. So I ended up like contacting Halloween Costumes, and then I was like, hey, this thing's defective. It just fried up, and I was like asking for a new control box. And the annoying thing is that Party Gears doesn't give to their suppliers new control boxes, which honestly pisses me off. Like, that's really unnecessary. It's not difficult. These things cost like pennies to make. And so they luckily, because the item was on clearance, they very happily sent me a new one. Like, so, because they're obviously trying to get rid of them, they just easily sent me a new one. And that new one, actually, I kind of looked after that a bit better. And then one day before school, I think I moved the motor a bit too fast, and then it was fried again. So that was the last of that. Unfortunately, I didn't really document that one very well. And so, yeah. And then it sadly went out of stock after. I did get a refund for that, but then it went out of stock. I kind of wish they brought it back, though. Even though it wasn't popular, they definitely should have like got a little less stock instead of like 500 of them. But I said I was done with Party Gears after that, because I was kind of pissed off that my only item, my biggest item in my collection, was broken. And then I kind of just like switched to Pack. I got my Rise Up Reaper and decided, yeah, this is a good company. I had a good experience with some SVI props with my friend, and then I eventually came back to them, and I was like, at Christmas. No, not Christmas, Halloween. I was like, because we're doing like a witch kind of haunt this year. They were like, they said to me, yeah, we need some like witch themed props. And I was like, Halloween Costume has a giant Plague Doctor. And I was like, I should get that. And at first I was nervous, but then I like reassured myself by saying, you broke it both times, pal. Like, that's literally your fault. And so yeah, besides, they like, I think they've upgraded the control, but I don't know. I don't think they have, but regardless, I just told myself that I just need to look after it better. And so yeah. And the good thing about the Plague Doctor is it is like the thing is with the Floating Ghost. After each activation, it would never end in the down position. It would always the Floating Ghost would always finish its activation in the down position, which means I had to push it up. But the Plague Doctor does end its activation up sometimes, which is good. You can just activate it again until it is up. But I'm actually like still got my eyes on the Plague Doctor. I haven't bought it yet because it's not anywhere near Halloween just yet. So we're not even like halfway, which kind of sucks. Yeah. So I didn't get it. Instead, I got like the classic werewolf, which was it's a really cool animatronic. I love the classic werewolf. And when that arrived, oh boy, was it good. So I was kind of remember sitting in like physics one day, and it kind of just came like, I know I said I was going to get the Plague Doctor, but from that point I hadn't really realised, wait, Party Gears is a really good value company. And what I mean by that is that, like, Party Gears, they kind of just produce identical props to SVI, except they don't look as good, and some parts like smaller, like the control box. Otherwise, it's like identical welding. Like, if you take a look, these welds are really good. Like, I don't think you guys realize, like, when you guys hate on SVI, no, when you guys hate on, like, party gears, these welds are really great quality. These aren't going to break. But, yeah, what I was saying is that I sand physics, I was like, dang, I need a party gears prop. They're, like, really good value. And if you still don't believe me they're good quality, well, then, like, and why you still think, well, why are you getting them in the UK? Well, you got to remember, guys, that, like, to get Towering Clown in the UK, it's $350. Wait, Alexa, what's $350 in pounds?
$350 is about £263.49.
Oh, I did it the wrong way around. Alexa, what's $350? Alexa, what's $350 in pounds?
From Quora.com.
Alexa, wait, I keep getting it wrong. Let me try that again. Alexa, what's £350 in dollars?
£350 is about $464.91.
Yes, as you heard. So for example, if we want Towering Clown in the UK, that's like £350, which is equivalent to like $465. So we're way overpaying here in the UK, which is why I think Party Gears is so good, because you get the exact same value, if better, like for a reasonable price. So for example, take Giant Plague Doctor. That thing is 7.5 feet tall and has a metal structure, like good motor quality, all that, except it's only £200 total, with like a 15% off voucher. And people like telling me, because people in America, they're just used to shipping being cheap, but it's not here in the UK. And stuff being cheap in the US, it's not here in the UK. It is the price over here is ridiculous. But yeah, that's another reason why I think they're good, because you get like SVI quality, except the cost is like down by a drastic amount. It's like amazing. But yeah, what more can I say? I think I was going to say something else, wasn't I? Oh yeah, my story about getting Party Gears props. Yeah, so I ordered classic, what I came home from school, and I was going to get it in installments, because it came out to about £200, and there was only like 2 left in stock, or 3, no, it was 3 left in stock, and I was like, okay, it's kind of like, if I let it go out of stock, am I going to get it? And so I just figured, okay, now or never, I've got to get this. So I was going to pay in installments, but then I realised, because I'm underage, I can't actually do that. So I just figured, yeah, why not just pay the full amount now? It doesn't really make a difference, after all, because I had the right amount of money. So yeah, I did that, I bought it, and then a few days later, he arrived. The good thing about Halloween costumes is that they ship really quick, like, to the UK. I mean, it's quite good, and the shipping was only £50, which is nice. But yeah, he arrived, and I got to see, like, his latex face. I made, like, a whole unboxing video about him. I made a review as well, if you guys want to watch that, which is also happens to be 30 minutes long. But you know what? That's not, even though I already made that video, I'm not gonna let that stop me talking about him and what I like about him. Alright, let's talk about the werewolf once he arrived. So I got him out of the box, and he, like, worked amazingly. Like, the first, like, I think he arrived on, like, a Friday. And then, on Sunday, his mouth stopped working. Oh, God. I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cold. But, on on Sunday, his mouth stopped working. And the reason is because they actually used, like, quite thick latex on Party Gears props, which is actually a good thing, if it means it lasts longer, so I'm not really complaining. But what happens is, because it's already, like, been sitting in a warehouse for a good few years, it means the plastic was already a bit brittle, and then the fact that Halloween the fact that the latex was thick just meant that when it moved, like it would just split. It just split the bracket which held the mouth mech in place. And so far, I think that was only mine, because my Killer Clown has not had that issue. You know, this guy, his mouth is still original. It still works just fine. So I'm pretty sure it was only just the werewolf who had that. So what I had to do is I had to 3D print a new bracket. I think I've got like a video about it, but it doesn't really have a very satisfying conclusion, because my video editor didn't film it properly. It meant that once you got to the end of the video, it doesn't actually show the new piece working, but I did manage to get it fixed and it did work very well. The only issue with it is it means the mouth doesn't move as far, but if that means the latex doesn't rip, again, I'm not really complaining. Oh gosh, that voice crack. Dang. But yeah, that, you know, I'm not really complaining, but yeah. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Then it had another issue. What happened is, because for some reason the sound sensor doesn't really work on my Wolf. I don't know why. So what my stupid ass did is I opened up the control box and I started poking around at the sound sensor, and I had it on, so it was like making noise and stuff. And then what happened is, like, obviously a sound sensor is like metal, right? So what I did is I dropped the sound sensor, then it landed on a component on the board and like bridged the gap, and then like puffs of smoke came up. So my dumbass technically fried it. So I immediately unplugged it, right? And then I gave it a minute to cool down, and then I plugged it back in again. Thankfully, the programming was still working. The head was still turning left and right. The mouth was still synchronized. The eyes were still lighting up. Everything was still working, right? But the audio wasn't working anymore. So what I had to do, well, let me go a bit more in depth here, because we've got lots of time left. We've still got another 30 minutes. But what actually happened is it meant that, oh, wait, I'm getting mixed up. So I originally thought it was the potentiometer. I'm just going to point at this, just to like show you what I mean. A potentiometer is actually what runs volume control, which is pretty cool. Oh god, I'm snotty. But the potentiometer is what causes volume control. I thought they used a cheap component and it popped it, but that wasn't the case. I was like feeling around with it. I was like, because a fun thing you can do that many people don't actually know you can do is you can touch your tongue against like prongs on a board, and then that will like, it won't like electrocute you that bad, but you'll get like a tingle, and that way you can tell voltage is going or not, or you can like put a bulb on it. But yeah, I tested it. The potentiometer was getting voltage, but not enough of it. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why didn't you just like attach the wires going to the potentiometer to it? Well, it actually is a 3-prong potentiometer, which means that actually doesn't work. So I'm pretty sure the sound module it uses fried out, because I tried like taking a look at the capacitors and they were all okay. Everything else on the board was okay, but that bit. So I don't really know what went pop. If I knew where it was, I would definitely replace it. But yeah. So what I ended up having to do is I went online and I ordered a bunch of sound modules. One of them I bought was the DF Player Mini. Yeah, that one did not work. It was too small, didn't really work. Then I bought another one. I can't remember the name of it. It was like square. And I tried to make it work. I ended up just raging out on it because it just wouldn't work. Like, you meant to like plug it up and then, you know, put a sound file on it. But there was like zero guidance on how to do it and how to get it working. And then I also tried like, they've all got like ridiculous names. The DF Player Mini was the only one which had a sensible name. Other than so like serial numbers and tags and all that kind of crap. But yeah. Yeah, all that crap. So eventually I kind of gave up. I ended up like smashing all of them, which is good, because they didn't work. I could not get them to work to save my own life. But I ended up ordering, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I ended up ordering the CX-K01. This one's really good. Might not crack open this. and then we can take a better look at it. Because it's super easy to use. I actually made like a whole separate video on how to use these. So open it up, and then take off the top here. And now you've got access to the whole thing, and it's got some really nice features like repeat, order, next. And then you've got volume control here. Here you've got the wires that go to the speaker, which you can change out. It's a plug. And then you got the wires here. So what I had to do is, there's actually on the board of the Party Gears board, there's like several ones. You've got, in one corner you have, sorry guys, one corner you've got audio, and then you've got, wait, no, not audio, I'm going nuts. I meant, you've got like, there's like an MO1 port, which is the first motor port, and then you've got one close over here to where the wires come out called MO2, which I'm pretty sure they use MO2 because it does the exact same thing except it's closer, which means you can save on wire. Cheap, I know, but whatever gets the job done, I guess. And then you've got the mouth movement port, which I can't remember the name of that. I'll need to check pictures at some point and I could like pop into the description, or if you want it, just ask me in the comments and I'll tell you, because then when I'm not filming I can actually let you know. But yeah, so oh god, I'm snotty. Yeah, so what I did is I ended up wiring it to the MO1 port. In hindsight, what you could do, or for example in the Floating Ghost, what I would have done is I would have actually got rid of, if I had a different choice, I probably would have got rid of the original audio and just like plugged it up. Well, actually no, that's a bad idea. I probably would have just plugged in a different motor. But what you could do also, if it is a one motion problem, the audio is already fried, is you could just stick it on the same port as the motor. So when it does receive backlogged current, it will just go straight to the audio device and power that instead of frying the board, which is pretty good. And that could actually be a solution for the Floating Ghost if you could just wire like a different motor. Maybe it's even just like something small, like one of these, that you just like wire that and just have it hanging out. That's what I'd do if I'm in the Floating Ghost again. Or use like a resistor or do something sensible. But who does that? Well, I'm all about doing stuff redneck. But yeah, so wired that up, and then it worked on the Werewolf. It's the way it works now. And I had to get the audio right. Luckily, it's one of those props which has the HD audio on the website video. But unfortunately, it's all pitched wrong. It's like way low pitched than it should be. And Scary Surprise Clown also has that issue on the website as well. It's like high pitch, I believe. But Werewolf was way too low pitch, so I had to like adjust it best I can. It was quite hard to get it to actually match, but I did it in the end, and it means it syncs up well enough. So yeah, I managed to get it working. And what you can do is you're probably thinking, well, how do you fit that casing in the control box? It doesn't really fit. Well, what I did is you can actually like take off this. It's just held on with a piece of adhesive, and then obviously you can rewire it to the original speaker. I know I'm pointing at this and giving examples, but this one's unchanged. This one's like in its original form, because I've learned from my lessons and I'm not tinkering with it pointlessly. But yeah, the good thing about the CXK01 as well is that if you want to have it run on phrases, you can order it to next, which means as soon as the audio file ends, the next time it gets power, it'll play the next audio track, which is really useful and all, if it wasn't for the fact that the CXK01 doesn't know the difference between an item being unplugged and waiting for the next, and the actual control board being like turned on and waiting for the next phrase. Because it means that if a prop has like specific audio phrase, it means it will get out of sync. Because Party Gears props, if you unplug them, they'll go back and plug them back in again. They'll go back to their first phrase, and so they'll like reset. I can actually show you guys that. Let me find it. Wherever the plug is. Give me a minute. Alright, let me show you. So once I got this plugged in.
Who wants a trim?
So remember that. Who wants to trim? It says that. Then we do it again.
Who wants a trim?
So yeah, as you can see, that's a problem. For this at least, because it means that your mouth will get all out of sync. So what you kind of do is you have to like force it in place, or like unplug it and plug it in again until the board matches up. Thankfully, the werewolf does not have phrases, and instead he's just like an audio mashup, which means it's not a problem. But that's just like a proof. Just be careful. So that's why I'm hoping that if I get Scary Surprise Clown and the audio does break, because I've heard there's been like cases on Scary Surprise Clown. There's like, I'm gonna tangent a little bit here, but on the Scary Surprise Clown, there's been like several incidents where people have reported, like the speaker box is like melted somehow. I'm not really too sure, but it meant there's been 2 cases of that. Someone called Lunch Doggy did it, and you can look it up on their channel of their demo of the Scary Surprise Clown, and you can see that it's fried. So don't worry about other props though, because they said all their other stuff works fine, and well, I can kind of prove that this works fine, and so does my werewolf. Despite the fact that I kind of broke it, but yeah. But I didn't want to send the werewolf back either because I really like him. He's really cool. There's no more left in stock, so even if I did, I wouldn't be able to get a new one. So I'll just take this, my current one. But yeah, that's what I did to fix it, and it works well enough. Oh god. Okay, so then once I did that, it had another issue. So what actually happened is, because I like poke around with my stuff too much. And what I did is I took off the spring, which helps it like boost forward. And so what happened there is it meant it just cracked the gear and the gear chain on the motor, and so then it broke. I had to like get in a new one. Here's one of the ones I tested. This is like the 10 RPM one. And this one works okay, but it was too slow. So right now it has a 12 RPM one on. And you know how I mentioned earlier about how Party Gears does that thing to strengthen their gearboxes? So yeah, this one has that feature, except the problem with that is ones you get off Amazon have plastic gears. So when you do the swap like Party Gears does, it means that you just crack the main gear here, which is a shame. So my current plan is I have emailed Mad About Horror to ask, like, they're like for those who aren't in the UK, they're kind of like the Spirit Halloween of the UK. They like do all the main distribution of stuff. And then I've asked for like a new motor from them. I mean, it works currently. It's not high torque enough. It doesn't synchronize up properly with the head as it should do, and I want it perfect. I want it like running as best as it can be. Sorry if I've done this video early, guys, with 45 minutes. I will keep going as long as I can. So yeah. What was I saying? Oh yes, it broke. I ended up trying a bunch of motors. I eventually settled on 12 RPM, just for now, until I can get a new motor in, hopefully. I hope that will work properly. And the annoying thing is that Party Gears and SVI, for those types of motors, they have a 5.5mm dual tap shaft. Whereas the ones you buy have a 5mm shaft. So what I ended up doing is I ended up like using a zip tie to wedge it in place, and that somehow worked. So that's good. Oh god. Yeah. Wow, 45 minutes in, guys. We're nearly there. If you're watching this at this point, you are legendary. Like, I mean, you're some other level of human to be watching me yap about Party Gears for an hour long. Hopefully an hour long. But yeah, Party Gears. Anyway, that's the plan. I hope it works out. We are nearly there. Just like the last step. Oh, and I know I'm yapping at this point, but that's been this whole video, am I right? Still got 15 minutes to go, you guys. You guys. Okay, I need to stop losing it and just lock in and yap. So what my plan is now is, because I've obviously got it working, but I want like it's got loads of issues that I've talked about already. I just want a brand new one, and they are getting brought back. They're like the only Party Gears prop that's out of stock right now that's confirmed to be returning, and they're gonna have a bunch of new stock in, but for I think July 30th or June 30th, somewhere around that time frame. And so when they do stock new ones in, I will sell my current one, and I'll get in a bunch. I'll get in a new one, and I'll use that one instead, because I'll have new motors, new control board, all that good stuff that I want, all those nice features that I replaced now on my current one, and like broken on my current one. So yeah, and I've learnt my lesson too. I'm not gonna go like poking around with stuff in future, but yeah. Oh, and then after that, I bought the little Killer Clown. This one was only 140 quid total. So yeah, this was a really good value. I really recommend this guy. He's a great little filler piece if you've got like a circus. He's like so much better than like stuff like Young Crouchy. You're getting so much better value here. You know, you're getting value than regular free footers. So when you pay for that extra money instead of the 30 quid, you get more than 30 quid's value here. You're getting like metal framework, metal base, latex head. You're getting all that sort of features, and it's really nice. And you're getting like a proper setup. You're getting like a smaller box. You really are paying for those nice features which you don't really see, and yeah, it really shows. I think for the last well, we're not quite there. Let's keep going. Yeah. So this guy is great. What more can I say about him? Oh yeah, I wish he kind of had a bit more motion. So this was what I would do if I was Party Gears. What I would do is I would have like this frame go all the way down to here, this neck thing, and have a head on a hinge. And so it means what would happen, and then have like a rod going to the head on here. So it means that when this spins, it will move the hand and the head, which means it would kind of like, imagine the camera's the head. It'll kind of have that sort of motion. Wait, let me kind of see. Wait, so if we can sort of manually, yeah, so it kind of like this would look right, this would look right. Yeah, it'll be really cool. That'd be a super cool animation just to have like as a bonus, but it's cool as it is. Like, in all honesty, I don't mind it. And yeah, it's a really simple setup too. But the weird thing is this one's defective. Not in like a bad way or anything, but in a way that it means I can't do head swaps, which sucks. But they use oh my god, that voice crack was so goofy. But this has a male jack coming out of it, and it has a female jack on the head. Whereas they're supposed to have the female jack coming out of the control box, and then a male one here, which means I can't do swaps, which is strange. This is a strange thing here, is because I haven't seen any other Party Gears props do that before, so I'm like certain it's like not supposed to be like that. And yeah, how about for the last 10 minutes, we're on the home straight now, guys, bear with me. We'll talk about my dream Party Gears props. But I'm just going to put the camera on the stand there. I know it's going to point in my snowman, but yeah. Alright, my dream Party Gears props. So, Straight Jacket Clown. We'll start off with him. Straight Jacket Clown is just awesome. He has like, let's start from the base of him. I don't have any pictures, but I'm not really going to edit this video because it's kind of just me yapping. But Straight Jacket Clown is awesome. He has like skull key shoes. Oh my gosh, they're so cool. And then moving upwards, he does something quite unique. He actually has like his module is not like a part of his motor is not a part of his control, not directly wired to his control box. You actually have to snap the module on. It's really unique. I've never seen a Party Gears prop do that before. Usually they're all, the motor and the control box are just one piece, which is quite cool. But yeah. So that was a pretty cool feature, and his animation's nice too. He has the same animation as the Red Demon, but he spins around, and I love like the audio that Morbid Enterprise clowns have. They have like this audio kind of like circus music mashup, and oh my god, is it cool. And it has like laughing in between, and let me tell you, the music those things play just gets stuck in your head all day. Cleaver Clown has it, Straight Jacket Clown has it, which I just mentioned, Wheel of Death has it, Clown Carousel has it, Clown Swinger has it. So yeah, quite a few of those animatronics are actually have that as a feature, for the audio at least. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh yeah, so another dream. We might as well just talk about my favourite ones on Halloween costumes, because Straight Jacket Clown's one of my favourites, Clown Carousel's one of my favourites. There's lots of like morbid stuff I want, but in terms of like the Halloween costumes ones, which are actually available for me to buy, I really want the Scary Surprise Clown, because like Party Gears props, they're kind of like a cartoon standing right in front of you. Like kind of just there's something like kind of uncanny about them, like makes them seem like they're not really supposed to be in this world. And the funny thing about Party Gears is that they kind of just use latex for everything. Like the buttons on my Killer Clown, they're made out of latex. It makes no sense. Why didn't you not just use plastic for that? But and then you've got stuff like skull props, like they got Pestilence kind of red lunging demon, and for some reason they chose to put latex on him for his head, even though they could have just used a plastic skull, which wouldn't improve longevity. But I'm not complaining, because the latex they chose looks really cool. It's kind of funny though, watching like a skull bend and be all squidgy. But yeah. So as I was saying, I really want the Scary Surprise Clown, and the reason is because he's so cartoonish. He has like 4 different animations. He has like 4 different. So his head turns side to side. His big head mouth moves. He opens his jacket to reveal the smaller clown, and also as an added bonus, the smaller clown's head moves. No, the smaller clown's mouth moves. It's just awesome. Like, that's so much animation, and it's only £300. And if you compare that to, you know what you're thinking, that's ridiculous. Well, if you compare that to like most stuff where you get £300 for like Crouching Clown in the UK, you realise that that's actually a pretty good value. Wait, it's okay, yeah. So yeah, what I was saying is it kind of looks like a cartoon, and it's not a bad build either. It's built really well. Another one I want is the Creepy Ventriloquist Dummy. He's kind of just like a nice cheap Party Gears prop you can get that like delivers and has lots of motion. The mouth moves on it, the head turns, and it's just great. It's like a great little filler piece if you just want to have like a creepy dolls section. He's just going to be fantastic to just lay there, turn on his sound sensor. And the interesting thing about him, and another reason I want him, is because he's the only Party Gears prop to have like from Halloween Costumes at least, to have like a different sort of control box. It's battery powered, which is interesting. I really want to see that and have a poke around and see what it's like. Is it a different board? I don't know. But this is actually a problem that quite a few items have, is with the alignment of various items. So for example, the Scary Surprise Clown is especially guilty of this. Just from factory, the head will be like looking off in a whole nother direction. And the reason is because they don't actually like they don't actually tighten this thread up properly. So these bits here at each end, you can like adjust them and change how loose or how far apart they'd be. So what they ended up doing is they ended up having them way too far out, which means it will end up looking in one direction more than the other. So all you have to really do for that is just remove like the clip here, take it off, like twist it a bit, and then it will just pull itself closer. And then when you've done that, it will basically just make it nice and aligned again, which is a really nice feature. I'm glad it's not just like a push-on thing that they do, otherwise, yeah, that'll be a bit annoying. But Creepy Ventriloquist Dummy, Killer Clown of Lollipop, they're all kind of guilty of that, but it's a very easy fix. Surprisingly, my werewolf didn't come with that issue, which is it's nice not to have to know to adjust that, but hey, if you're watching to this part of the video, well, at least you know now. Yeah, Creepy Ventriloquist Dummy, he's awesome. Another one I want is, I really want them to bring back the Floating Ghost. I know I talked earlier about how, you know, they fried and mine fried, but I wish they'd just bring it back, because I'd so happily buy a new one. Plague Doctor, I've already talked about it. His lunge is just like awesome. And if you look at the videos where he's beside a human and other Party Gears props like the werewolf, because the Halloween costumes, they released like their 2024 lineup video where they had like every prop they sold in a warehouse, which they should definitely do that again. I'd like to see that with all the newer stuff together, with all like 2025 stuff thrown in. Another discontinued prop that I think they should bring back is the Killer Circus Clown. I know that one's technically party time, but because it's by Halloween Costumes, I'm still gonna talk about it. It's just cool. I like the phrase. I love is the clown barrel phrase where it goes, double the clowns, double the fun. When we come after you, there's nowhere to run. Hee 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 hee. Yeah, it's funny. By the way, if you're watching this part of the video, comment cheese in the comments. Yeah. But yeah, another one I want is Killer Clown of Lollipop. I've already got the Killer Clown of Knife, and so if I got the Killer Clown of the Lollipop, I could easily put that together with my knife, with my Killer Clown of Knife, and when I get Scary Surprise Clown, which is hopefully soon, there's only one left in stock, and I get paid in April, and it's the 16th today, so if you're here like in the future or something, and it is past April, then you'll be able to see whether I got it or not. And if you're here like 10 years in the future, well, hello time traveler, welcome to, are you here because the world collapsed and you're looking through documents of what we humans did millions of years ago or something like that? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, so it's April, hopefully it doesn't go out of stock, and yeah, 2 minutes left, let's go. Yeah, Scary Surprise Clown, I really want him, but Killer Clown of Lollipop, he's cool. What I like about him is his animation. Head turn is so underrated, not gonna lie. It's so basic, but it does its job so well. And it lasts a long time too, especially the motors they use. I can guarantee the head turn on that clown is gonna last years. And I love the way that all the Party Gears props have their mouths like gaping wide open. It's so goofy and fun. Like, not many props do that. They always like make sure they're like sealed shut, but Party Gears says no to that, and they make them look goofy and fun, which I honestly like. And lots of people criticize them, saying, well, who's gonna buy that prop? It looks like stupid. Well, I'll tell you who does buy it. Like, families buy it as like a family friendly prop, because it tells jokes, and I honestly like the way that it looks. It kind of like really reminds me of the Morbid Enterprise 2019 era, and it's so cool. Oh, Psycho Syringe, he is cool. I really like him. I know I'm kind of like going insane, but I am going insane. That's the truth of it. Yeah, Psycho Syringe, he's cool. I like how he pops the He has like a giant syringe, but I wish he had the same animation as Cleaver Clown. I think that would honestly be a bit better. Like, you know, the side to side and then raise instead of just raise. But he's honestly one of the coolest items. And also the lunging zombie soldier. Yeah, he's cool. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching me go insane for an hour while yapping about party gears. I'll see everyone next time.